Hey everybody, what's up? It's Brandon here, and today I'm going to break down one of the most important tools that I've been using to level up my trading. It's called the Manual Behavioral Trade Tracker, which you can see up here, and it's from Journey.Trading.com. So a quick shout out to Taylor and his entire team at Teach.Trade for putting me on to this. And honestly, this was the missing piece for me that I didn't know that I was missing. Once I started tracking my behavior the same way that I was tracking my setups, everything changed. So salute to them for introducing me to this tool. If you are somebody who knows how to trade, but your biggest problem is not following your own rules, I've been there myself, trust me, then this tracker is for you. This tool is for you. And this video will also hit home. So by the end of this video, you're going to understand how I track my trades with behavioral context, how this tool exposes the real patterns that cost you money, and how this is helping me build consistency over the long run for real. If the video helps you, please give it a like, comment the behavior you're working on or something that you knew that you learned, and subscribe so that you can follow the journey as I continue to improve and master the mental side of trading. So jumping in, why is this tool important, right? So just to keep it real, right? Most of my losses never came from bad setups, but they came from my own behavior, right? So this manual trade tracker uses AI to pile your trades together based on certain metrics. So here, for example, we're going to go through this throughout the video, right? But you can see that the data confirms everything, right? So in my PDF, right, you can see in my weekly report based on the 13 trading sessions, one trading session is a day. So based on all these sessions, you can see my performance and based on what behaviors, right? So you can see that 7 out of 13 sessions, I was over trading, you know? And in over trading, you will see that led to other patterns, right? Could have been impulsive override, which ended up costing me a little over 1,700, or moving my stop loss, right? Which ended up costing me about 450 over time. I did have two wins, but I also had one loss. And then here on the positive side, you can also see that if I followed my plan, then I would win, right? Which is why I'm up 1,700 and change on the trades that I followed my plan. So you can see here that overtrading, 54% emotional tilting. That means if I was very emotional, it was about 38%, and the like. So you can see on the positive side, right, that when I followed my plan, I had no losses, and that's just it highlights and showcases how when you follow your plan and you create a plan ahead of time, then you have that much more less to worry because you're not going to be making impulsive decisions, which is what we need is specifically from a psychological and emotional perspective, right? So this is where like the discipline is going to get built, right? It's not actually on the charting. The technicals are extremely important so that you understand when to go in and when to come out. But if you can't control your emotions from a psychological perspective, then what's the point of understanding the technicalities and the technical entries and points if you're not going to be able to control yourself? So when I go to this page, the first thing I do is I go to the log session bar, and in here I'll start off from the top bottom. I start off with a daily compliance scorecard, which just is asking you if you have a plan, right? Did you pre-trade? Did you plan your trade, right? Was there a pre-trade planning, right? Did you enter according to a specific plan, right? Did you add a stop before you enter the play? Many times that's extremely like recommended so that if there's a reversal or or a momentum that goes in the exact opposite, that you don't got to worry about losing the majority of your funds on one trade. What did you place a stop and were you disciplined in it, right? Did you move it? Did you not move it, right? Was your profit target executed? Like, did you reach the profit target you say you were going to reach and execute? And then did you journal document this trade? Right? So that's the first section. The second section is the primary behavior. So the main reason that you traded, right, or that the trade played out the way that it did, could it be because you followed a plan? Could be because you were, making an impulsive decision, or you revenge trading. Did you move your stop loss and hope that it would continue going, um, and the like, etc. So, these are all the things that many traders, including myself, right, didn't like to admit, because you have to admit these things to yourself, admit these fears, admit these uncomfortable situations in order for you to be the better trader and become a better version of yourself. Additionally, secondary behaviors, right? This is like during the trade, right? That part that opened your eyes. So like over time, you will notice that you got in because of FOMO, or did you get in, or did you adjust your trade based on the fact that you were emotional, right? Were you hesitant? Were you having analysis paralysis, and that you kind of jumped in from a place of fear instead of calculated risk? So this is where you would normally see your mental weakness in data form, right? Which is extremely helpful and important. So now let's go through adding a trade, right? So let me show you little by little. So I'm gonna actually run through one trade that I'm gonna log in that I did today, right? And I'm gonna start off by going through the daily compliance scorecard, right? So the first trade we could talk is, did I plan my trade, right? Did I enter based on a plan? No. Did I place my stop prior to? No. Did I honor my stop without moving it? No. Did I take profits at target? No. Did I document my trade? I am doing that now, so we'll put yes. Primary behavior, right? When I entered, why did I enter? Was it because I was following a plan? When I exited, was it fear, revenge trading, boredom? And I'm gonna go with fear exit, and we'll explain a little more about that in a bit, right? And secondary behavior, why did I enter? Right? Was it FOMO? Was I overconfident? Was I emotional? In this specific play today, I entered because of FOMO, fear of missing out, right? So I thought it was going to run without me. So triple Qs, I got in, right? It was a long position for options, right? It was a call option. My results, negative 63.03. I would say I was feeling a little anxious, right? The setup type, the setup type was a breakout, because it was supposed to be breaking out, right? So I took this trade because when I was looking on the lower time frame, I think 3 or 5 minute, I noticed that price was breaking to the upside, right? So here on the added trade, you can see that I added the symbol, I added the position type, the instrument type, I added the call or put, the P&L, the emotional state, right? It was like, how was I feeling during this trade? And then the notes. Right, so I took this trade because when I was looking on the lower time frame, think of 3 or 5 minutes, the price was breaking to the upside, and was looking to make a continuous movement up. However, when it broke the high of the previous candle, I noticed that price reversed immediately, hit a low, stopped me out, and then reversed to the upside. It happens all the time. If you don't notice, if you don't follow your rule and pre-plan, then things won't go to the best that it can go in, as it can be convenient for you. So I'm going to add this trade to the session. Here below, these are the session reflections. So at the end of all my trades, I can review, okay, how did the session go, right? This trade I lost, but I had other trades that I did well. So just based on time's sake, I'm just going to give you guys an example of what happens when you do not follow your rules. What happens when you don't have a pre-made plan? You'll lose funds, you'll get stopped out, and you will also miss on opportunities. So I mentioned as a session reflection, this is also part of it, like towards the end, after I add all of the um, plays that I was in for the day, I would go in and rate the overall session, provide input, and biggest lesson learned today. So for the sake of time, I'm going to show you guys the reports and what it looks like. So here I'm going to go through it, right? So this tool literally, it compiles everything into a weekly behavioral report, right? So this is literally when the accountability gets real on a one-on-one to yourself, or if you have somebody that you can hold that can hold you accountable and vice versa. So this behavioral trend summary, it shows the most frequent behaviors, right? Any destructive patterns that you may have, positive patterns, average financial impact, and more, right? So when you see these behavioral costing you thousand in this case for me, right, it kind of hits different because you're able to figure out, all right, what exactly can I stop doing or do more so that I can improve the possibility of me winning the trades that I take, right? So again, I want to give a huge shout out to Taylor and the Teach.Trade, family for putting me on to Journey.Trading. It has genuinely elevated the way that I approach each session. I've been doing this for about 2 weeks now, and I'm being more cautious, feeling better, being more in control of my emotions. I'm not going to say that it is entirely like I have entirely separated myself from it, because it's unrealistic for you to entirely separate your emotions from trading. However, it is important for you to understand that that is the way that you should approach it, right? Don't numb yourself to it, but understand how to isolate your emotions. These trades needs to be as fixed, as structured as possible. You will make mistakes and things happen, but as long as you have a plan, you will be able to catch these mistakes earlier than before. So again, if you're serious about taking your trading to the next level, understanding your weakness, the pros, the cons, your strengths, this is the work that needs to be done. The mentor and behavior side, this is the part that most traders ignore. And if you don't get through this, then you can't become a successful trader, in my opinion. And based on the mentors that I have had from a trading perspective, they tell me the same thing. Journal every single day if you're making a trade that day. Okay, so if you got value from this, please like the video, drop a comment with the behavior you're trying to fix, or just any feedback you may have, and subscribe so you can follow my journey as I continue to master my discipline, my psychology from trading, and my consistent execution. Appreciate everybody for taking the time to listen in. Let's get better every day, and I hope to see you guys soon in the next video. Peace.